Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, a show dedicated to helping you expand your capacity, take your life in every area to an entirely new level, and creating a day and a life by design. Here's your host, Dan Hafner. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, your host, Dan Hafner here, creator of the RunWage app, founder of the Run Your Day podcast. Today's topic is this: your system might be broken. As always, I appreciate you guys joining. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. All right, my friends. So today's episode, I was inspired to talk about due to a comment I saw inside of a Facebook group that I'm a part of. I won't name I'll give their first name. It was Katie. It's not like a group that I have or inside of the Run Your Day group or anything like that. It's a different one that I'm part of, just for a general Facebook one for coaching and entrepreneurs and whatnot, things like that. So this was a very, very interesting comment. And I think it really, truly applies to this concept of your system being broken that I want to talk to and kind of segue into. But first, I want to read you the actual comment that you wrote. Let me get it pulled up here. Okay, so this is what she said. Again, this was Katie. She said, quote, "For those of you working from home these days, how do you continue to stay focused on what you have to do?" Right? Let me say that again. For those of you working from home these days, how do you continue to stay focused on what you do? Which is a very, very good question. I think it's very timely and relevant, right? Especially because of obviously all the COVID-19 stuff, whether you're in lockdown or whether you are having to work from home or there's a whole bunch of different situations out there. I can't even keep it all straight anymore. But ultimately, this is very relevant, right? And I think it's relevant inside of this topic of a system, because this was actually a concept I was introduced to a couple of years ago through a podcast. I don't even remember what it was or who it was. I just remember the seed being planted in my brain of your life being a system, right? Like when your life is a system, there is this different way that you think about how you actually function and get things done every day. Because when I say like your life is a system, right? Like why do people, like let's take Chick-fil-A for example, okay? Why do people love Chick-fil-A? Not only because it tastes great, right? But because you're in and out, like even if the drive-thru is super backed up, right? Like you're in and out pretty quickly. Like you can get there and you're like, oh my God, we're never going to get waited on. And then 5 minutes later, you're done and you've paid for it, you got your food. And you're like, how in the hell did they pull that off, right? It's because Chick-fil-A has some of the best systems I've ever seen inside of any business ever. Like it's incredible, right? And that's why a lot of people want to deal with that. They'd rather go there than sit through a slow Taco Bell line or a slow McDonald's line or all those different things. So your life can be the same thing. Like your life can be the same type of system. Now, inside of that, people want to deal with better systems. People want to be a part of better systems. So if you take a look at, how you function inside of a relationship or inside of a career or inside of a business or inside of your body and your fitness and your fuel or whatever it might what you might think of, are you yourself a system? Right? Like, do you have a consistency? Do you have a routine? Do you have something that you will meet every single time without fail and keep that consistency? Right? Because when you fall apart in this consistency, and I'm probably the freaking poster child for this, right? You start to see results slip. You start to see people not want to deal with you. You start to see clients leave. You start to see relationships deteriorate. You start to see your body deteriorate. Because keeping up a system is hard. Like depending on like if there's a high level system, right? Like why do you think like just think about the incredible levels of systems inside of technology and people and processes and all these different things that just make the government run on a day-to-day basis. Like it's obscene. It's crazy. It's mind-bending to think about. And think about big Fortune 500 companies that employ tens of thousands of people, right? Like there's systems in there that you and I probably can't even wrap our brains around unless you're a Fortune 500 CEO listening to this podcast, which if you are, I'd love to hear your input on this. But inside of your personal life, right? How can you make yourself more systematized? How can you, and I know I'm asking the question quite early here in the show. We're only about 5 minutes in, but right, like how can you start to be more of a system? Like how can you respond to people better? How can you set boundaries for when you're available or when you're not available? How can, especially if you're working from home, how can you get more consistent with the hours that you're working? Maybe some days you have to take the kids to school, or you don't take the kids to school, or you have to do the homeschooling, or you have to make breakfast, or you have to do all these different things, but you're showing up inconsistently, and it's deteriorating your systemization of things because it doesn't allow you to get into a habit. It doesn't allow you to get and see the results that you want to see because your system's just broken. It's just broken, right? So that's like the first piece to think about, because if you are in a situation where your system is broken, meaning an area of your life where you can't work out regularly, you can't get results in your business regularly, you can't find connection or intimacy in your relationships consistently, right? It's probably because a lack of systemization. Now there's other things, there's lying, and there's cheating, and there's all kinds of other bullshit that can happen inside of any one of those areas. I'm just talking, like, I'm trying to keep this relevant to the systemization conversation, right? But like if you take a good hard look at like an area of your life that might not be working, or or maybe it is working, you just want something bigger and better, you can get those results that you desire or fix the broken system by thinking about, how can I actually systematize this? Like how can I automate some part of this? How can I actually find a way to get bigger results, or leverage other people, or leverage things that I already have in my life to make these results go bigger? And it might come down to, like, if you are the weak link, if everything rests upon you, that's hard. Like that's freaking hard. And that's why relationships, that's why marriage is so freaking hard, because no one can do it for you. There's no automation in the world. There's no software in the world. There's no app in the world. There's no website in the world that can fix your freaking marriage. Right? It's you. Like it's you that has to show up with love and compassion and gratitude and actually do the work, whether you're a man or a woman. Right? But inside of a business, yeah, maybe you can automate something. Maybe you can automate some outreach. Maybe you can automate some form of fulfillment. Even inside of a job, like think about, well, how can I automate my to-do list? Or how can I get, so I know every day when I walk in what I actually have to do that day? Or how can I organize something a little bit better? Like how can I organize my desktop, or like my workspace, or just everything in its place? There's always a way that you can make your system better. Let me say that again. There's always a way that you can make your system better. And you don't have to do this major, drastic, life-changing system thing to make something better. All you have to do is make a small adjustment, right? Like if you find yourself losing time because you have to go back, roll back in your chair, right? Roll back over here to get a pen and come back. Like just move where your pens are on your desk. Like that's it. Like it's something like super simple like that. You know what I mean? Like it's there's a level of awareness that comes into you when you start to think this way. And I can attest to this 100%. And I can see people in, groups I'm in that are very, they would be a testament to this as well. Like when you start thinking about things at a higher level, you start to figure out how to solve the problems that you've always been facing in a different way. And when that starts to happen, that's what we're after. That's what we're after. That's running your day right there. Like figuring out the small levers to pull that are going to make the biggest changes. That that's what you can do. So I'll repeat the question for you again, right? Where in your life can you make your system better, or can you fix a broken system? Where can you start just making a small change in one area today? Just like that, like move where your pens are, clean up your workspace. Something small to just make your system a little bit better. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing, my friends. It is. Trust me. And it's not the easiest thing, but it's well worth it. Right. Okay. So that's all I have for you today, my friends. As always, I appreciate you all joining. Have some more exciting announcements coming in the next couple weeks. I will say that Run Your Day Academy is actually open for enrollment right now. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm getting ready to upload the very first course to it later this week. And enrollment is free until the end of October, at which point it will switch over to a paid service. So if you're interested in possibly be joining this, even with no content right now, there's zero content. If you're listening to this, today is October 6th, 2020. If you're listening to this later on in December, this won't apply to you. But if you want this for free, like this is going to be paid in the future, I'm telling you. So if you have this, if you're listening to this during this window, just go and sign up. It's just your name and email, and you get access to it, and you'll get access to everything that's uploaded forever for free until October 31st. So head over to runyourdaypodcast.com, click on Academy, and you get access to this, where I'm actually going to go through a lot of these podcast episodes and give you breakdown courses and a lot more in-depth, cool stuff to actually help you figure out how to get a better system in your life, right? To get more productive, more efficient, more effective in the things that you do. And a lot of these courses are going to be focused, without really being focused, on systemization. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm starting to put together a product that's going to help you. Okay. So head over to runyourdaypodcast.com and click on Academy, and you can sign up for free, 100% for free, my friends, until October 31st. So get over there, just sign up. There's nothing in there right now. There will be shortly. Sit tight, and we'll get you taken care of. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you. Make it a great rest of your day. Dan Hafner signing off. Talk to you later.